Our guest speaker this morning is Don Gady. Don is a retired physician who attended UU Fresno for 25 years, I can tell, lots of friends, before moving to San Luis Obispo 5 years ago, where he attends the UU SLO congregation and serves on its board of trustees. About 8 years ago, after becoming alarmed at the worsening political polarity of this country, he joined Braver Angels, a group dedicated to healing our divisions. He is also leader of the San Luis Obispo County chapter of Citizens Climate Lobby. He is married to Jenny Martin and has 3 children and 2 grandchildren. And now get ready for something a little different. Oh, hey, good morning, Don. How are you?
Hey, good morning, Christine. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm just looking at the latest news, and just immigration's just such a mess. Thank God for ICE. All those libtards just want to let anybody walk into the country.
I can't believe you're defending ICE. I mean, they're separating families at the border. You remind me of my redneck uncle. I mean, please, really.
Okay, well, even in New York City, the mayor, Eric Adams, said that Biden is letting too many immigrants in. He doesn't have the resources to take care of the immigrants that are there legally.
You might get off of Fox News once in a while.
Oh, wow, so now I'm ignorant. Typical. You just want to open borders, let everybody in. So...
Where was I?
You just want open borders for everybody.
I do not. Okay, you're putting words in my mouth. National Academy of Science, look it up. People that are immigrants, even undocumented, they commit less crimes than people that are born here. So like I said, stop the Fox News stuff.
There was a young person at my kid's high school that recently had a fentanyl overdose. If there weren't all these illegal immigrants and their gangs bringing drugs across the border, we wouldn't have this problem.
You know what? You're probably one of those head in the sand kind of climate denialists too, aren't you?
Oh, here we go, Al Gore Jr.
Well, haven't you seen? I mean, our world is heating up, and people are starving, because of droughts. So, just wake up.
Have you ever been to Yosemite Valley?
Yeah.
How do you think it was formed? Climate change has always been happening.
Listen, look it up, NASA, okay? Climate change is happening a lot faster now than it ever was in Yosemite Valley. Okay?
Well, you've got your experts, I've got mine.
You're not listening to me at all.
You're not listening to me either.
I think we agree on that. All right. Can I give this to you? Okay. Well, good morning. Thank you. Yeah. So if that conversation sounded disturbingly familiar, welcome to America 2026. Our political conversations, even if we dare to start them, often consist of name-calling, interrupting, personal attacks, no acknowledgement of the other person's point of view, and no movement toward understanding the other person. So, yeah, exactly, right there. No curiosity, it's right up there. So this begs the question, when was the last time you changed your mind after having a conversation like that? Never, exactly. It's more likely you became more convinced that you were right. On the other hand, when was the last time you had a conversation with someone you disagreed with and you did change your mind, at least a little bit? Not because you were overwhelmed by facts, National Academy of Sciences, whatever. Not because they won, but because you felt heard and then somehow became open enough to hear them. We're living in a time when conversations, especially about politics and identity and where our country is going, feels less like connection and more like combat. We brace ourselves, we defend ourselves, and we prepare to defend but not understand. And I think, though, that there's another hope that we have, a hope that we can live in a beloved community with each other. I hope that truth is not always something we possess alone, but something we seek together. a hope that our humanity is bigger than our divisions. That hope is at the heart of an organization called Braver Angels. At Braver Angels, we believe in treating people with dignity and civility and respectful engagement. The goal is not to defeat or convert one another, but to understand one another. Excuse me. Makes me cry. But what does that understand really mean here? It doesn't mean agreement. It doesn't mean surrendering your convictions. It doesn't mean pretending that important differences don't matter. No, it's something both simpler and harder. It means awakening our curiosity. That's our monthly theme, by the way. And so becoming genuinely curious about how another person came to see the world they do. That kind of curiosity is not weakness, it's not passivity. It's actually, in a way, a spiritual practice. So the first principle is listen to understand, not to win. Secondly, speak for yourself, not for your side. Instead of saying, people like you always, we say, this is how I see it, and here's why it matters to me. That shifts the conversation from accusation to personal testimony. Thirdly, respectful engagement. No sarcasm, no libtards or rednecks, no name calling or gotcha question. Choose curiosity. Fourthly, choose curiosity over certainty. Instead of asking, how could anyone believe that? Ask, what experiences, values, or fears might lead a thoughtful person to have that view? That question can open a door where moments before there was only a wall. And lastly, look for common ground, not total agreement or false harmony, but shared human concerns. Because even when we disagree passionately, we're often protecting things that matter to all of us, like safety and dignity and freedom and belonging and a livable future for those who come after us. But what happens when you're listening to someone and you're looking for something, anything that you can agree with, but you can't find anything and you feel like you've got nothing in common with that person's perspective? Well, there's a couple things you might do. You might acknowledge the other person's passion for that topic. You might also admit to some limitations on your side. After all, regardless of what we like to think, we don't know everything. Braver Angels also teaches a simple mnemonic device called LAPP, LAP. Listen, acknowledge, pivot with permission and perspective. First, you listen to the other person. Then you acknowledge what you heard so that they know they were actually heard. Then and only then, you ask permission to pivot and share your own values, and only then do you present your perspective. This is simple, it's respectful, and in this moment in history, it's very refreshing. Now, if all that sounds fairly familiar, that may be because it resonates so deeply with our Unitarian Universalist values, the inherent worth and dignity of every person, the free and responsible search for truth and meaning. And lastly, our commitment to love. It's out there on the walk. The doctrine of this church is love. Lately, I've been reading a book by Joseph Goldstein and Jack Kornfield, in which they state, true love is a universal, non-discriminating sense of care and connectedness. In it, we can include even those whom we may not at all like or approve of. We may not condone their behavior, but we can cultivate understanding and forgiveness toward them. But here's the challenge. It's one thing to affirm those values in principle. It's another thing entirely to practice them even when we're sitting across from someone whose worldview feels alien or even threatening to us. That's where the braver part of Braver Angels comes in, because this work does require courage. The courage to stay in the conversation when it would be easier to walk away. The courage to listen when you feel unseen or misunderstood. The courage to speak honestly without contempt. And maybe most of all, the courage to allow yourself to be changed, if not in your beliefs, then at least in your understanding. And I think that's what it means to build a beloved community. Not that we all think alike or that conflict disappears, but we learn to meet one another with enough humility and honesty and compassion that disagreement doesn't have to become dehumanization. So what if the goal of your next difficult conversation was not to change someone's mind, but to leave them feeling respected? What if we measured success not by whether we won the argument, but whether we kept faith with another person's humanity? And what if we discovered that understanding someone else didn't weaken our convictions, but deepened our compassion for that person? That may not make us agree with one another, but it might make us wiser and kinder and a little braver. In the next scene, Christine and I will demonstrate how to have a similar conversation in a little different way, maybe a little similar to what braver angels would recommend. Where's my coffee cup? Is this my cup?
Oh, good morning, Don. How are you?
Good morning, Christine. Great to see you again. How you been doing?
You know, I'm good. I'm just going through my news feed like you do these days, and immigration just seems to be out of control. Biden's open borders just let so many people across. It's so chaotic.
Really, I hadn't noticed that. So what? Can you tell me more about that? What's going on?
Well, we have all of these immigrants coming here illegally, not following the rules. Some of them are bringing drugs. They're taking our jobs. It's just there's no rhyme or reason. It's so chaotic.
Wow. So you're taking their jobs. So you're worried about affecting the economy, maybe? I mean.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
I'm here. I was born here. I should be able to get work.
Yeah, I get that. So, anything else you want to share about that?
I am also concerned that they're just letting people flood across without checking to see if they are good people, if they're filling out their paperwork properly.
Got it, yeah. So, do you mind if I share something, my perspective on that?
Sure.
Okay, so I hear what you're saying, but I'm also concerned about, the compassion. Is ICE is separating families. Children are being taken away from their children. They're putting in detention camps. People are coming in for asylum and they can't get asylum. And it just seems inhumane the way we're treating these people.
That's a good point. I mean, I don't want families to be mistreated either. It's just how do you balance that compassion with the need for enforcement?
Yeah, I mean, I guess there's really no pathway to become a citizen these days. And so, I mean, might you agree that we need to come out with some humane way that we can welcome people into our country without, I don't believe in completely open borders, okay? I think we need to have some sort of control at the border, so we need to vet people. But right now, it just seems like there's no way to humanely.
I agree. We should let immigrants in a lawful, organized manner. I'm not against all immigration.
Really? Cool. So, if I asked you something else that's been bugging me lately?
Go ahead.
Kind of keeping me awake at night. Climate change. I mean, I've been doing a lot of reading about it, and our world is just heating up year by year.
So you believe climate change is real and humans caused it?
Yeah, you don't.
No.
I mean, don't you? I mean, you read the reports, right? The weather reports. I mean, across the world, our climate's heating up, and
sure,
I think
it's getting a little hotter, but I don't think humans have anything to do with it.
Okay, but you do agree it's getting hotter, though.
It is.
Okay, all right, good. We've got that anyway. So, and I know you're concerned about immigration. So, think about this: countries like Mexico and other South American countries, as it heats up, their crops might fail, and their people might say, we've got to move elsewhere. We've got to come to the United States. And so the immigration problem might just get worse.
I hadn't thought of that. We certainly don't need any more problems with immigration.
Exactly. So I think that might be something that we can both agree that, climate change, we need to address that because immigration.
But what about these climate activists that are trying to put all these taxes on gasoline? I mean, I won't be able to afford to drive my car.
Okay, yeah, I mean, you have a good point. We can't just put a huge tax on gas. What do you drive? You drive
I have a Subaru. It gets pretty good mileage.
Gas
Still.
car. Yeah. Well, you're right. Gas goes way high, and you can't afford to drive to work and drive your kids around. So yeah, we have to have a reasonable system so it's not too expensive for you to drive, or make it easier for you to convert to an electric car, let's say, right?
Thank you. Yes, I agree. If we can come up with something that doesn't cost too much, and I can still afford to heat my house and drive my car, I could be open to some sort of reform.
Cool. So sounds like we might have some common ground there, huh?
Looks like it.
All right. High five. So, next slide, please. What changed? Well, we went from a winning mindset to an understanding mindset. From labels and attacks to individual perspectives to you people to here's what matters to me, to no listening to active listening, from escalation to de-escalation and debate to dialogue. And next slide. So, and we try to demonstrate that the LAPP protocol, listen to understand, with the goal of understanding their point of view, not to prepare your rebuttal. Acknowledge, reflect back what you heard, and find a point of agreement if you can, no matter how small. Next. And then ask for permission to pivot to share your perspective, and then share your own view using I statements. Great, thank you. So, I'd like to leave you with this thought. Most of us will not be called on this week to solve the crisis at the border, or to solve climate change, or to save American democracy before Thursday. But many of us may be called on to something smaller, and maybe just as important. A conversation with a neighbor, a tense exchange with a family member at that Thanksgiving dinner, a random comment by a stranger that just makes our blood boil, a moment when we feel that familiar urge to interrupt, to dismiss, to correct before the other person has even had a chance to finish his sentence. In that moment, we'll have a choice. We can choose to be right, or we can choose to be curious. Not because truth doesn't matter, not because justice doesn't matter, and certainly not because every opinion deserves equal moral weight. But because if we really want to reach people, if we want to lower the temperature rather than raise it, then how we speak matters. Brené Brown teaches that curiosity and bravery go hand in hand. She described curiosity as an essential tool for navigating vulnerability. When we get curious, we drop our defensive armor and our need to be right all the time. Instead, we courageously take some time to find out about the other person's perspective. And Unitarian Universalists ask something very similar, Brené Brown and Braver Angels, to honor the inherent worth and dignity of every person, even when it's inconvenient, even when that's difficult, even when that person is something that makes our better angels beat a path for the nearest exit. So this isn't weakness, but it's spiritual maturity and courage and true love. So perhaps the best measure of a good conversation is not, did I win? Did I persuade them? They finally admit that I'm right. Maybe the better questions are, did I listen well? Did I make room for another person's humanity? Did I leave the conversation with more understanding than I had before? Because beloved community is not built when everyone agrees. It's built when people choose again and again to stay human with one another in the midst of disagreement. And in times like this may be one of the bravest things we can do. Thank you very much.